And here we are in 2009, and I'm standing amongst baseball elite in front of my family, friends, and fans.
Jim Rice, a baseball legend with a Hall of Fame career and a swing that could send chills down any pitcher's spine. But did you know that beneath all this lies a history of controversial drug abuse and clashes with the media that almost derailed his legacy? Let's get to know everything one by one. Born on March 8, 1953, Jim Rice is a name that every baseball fan knows. This guy was not just any player. He was a powerhouse left fielder and designated hitter, spending all 16 years of his Major League Baseball career with the Boston Red Sox. Fast forward to 2009, and it's no surprise he made it into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Rice was a pro through and through. He was an 8-time All-Star in the American League and snagged the title of Most Valuable Player in 1978. That year was a big deal because he was the first guy in nearly 2 decades to hit for 400 total bases. And he didn't stop there. He led the major leagues in total bases for 2 consecutive seasons. Not to mention, he matched Ty Cobb by leading the American League in total bases for 3 straight years. His stats are impressive, batting over .3007 times, notching 100-plus RBIs 8 times, hitting 200 singles 4 times, and smashing 20-plus home runs in 11 seasons. But this man clearly did not shy away from scandals. Take his Hall of Fame induction. It was a long time coming, 15 whole years after he was eligible. That sparked a lot of conversations about whether his stats really merited an induction, especially when people started looking at his career through the lens of sabermetrics, those advanced stats that go beyond the traditional numbers. It stirred up this old versus new school stats debate, which is pretty fascinating depending on which side of the fence you're on. Rice also had a bit of a rocky relationship with the media. He wasn't the easiest guy to interview, often coming off as terse, even combative. Since some of the media members vote on Hall of Fame inductions, you've got to wonder if his frosty interactions with them played a part in how long he had to wait for his induction. In 2009, Rice's reputation faced another challenge when a book alleged that he had used performance-enhancing drugs during his career. Rice strongly denied these allegations, and no concrete evidence was ever brought forward to support the claim. However, the mere mention of such accusations can cast a long shadow over an athlete's legacy, especially in an era when PED scandals have rocked the sports world. Rice was also no stranger to on-field controversy. Like back in 1982, he got into this major brawl with the Milwaukee Brewers that got him ejected and fined. Stuff like that definitely spices up a player's image, doesn't it? And he hasn't really stepped away from the spotlight even after retiring. He's quite vocal about today's players, often critiquing them for not playing the game the right way, in his view, focusing too much on their stats rather than the team's success. It's a classic old-timer take that gets a nod from some and rolls eyes from others. Rice also has strong opinions about the designated hitter rule. He's not a fan. He thinks pitchers should hit, just like in the National League. It's a debate that's as old as the rule itself, and hearing Rice's take on it just adds more fuel to that ongoing discussion. So Jim Rice, a fantastic player no doubt, but his journey and his views keep the conversations about him lively and sometimes a bit heated. It's what makes sports so interesting, right? The game's greats never really leave the game. They just find new ways to be part of the story. Sure, his scandals and controversies make sense, but he's also a legend, and you can't ignore that. From the get-go, it was clear Jim Rice had something special. Back in '73, playing for the Pawtucket Red Sox in the minors, he smashed a crucial 3-run homer that clinched a 5-2 win in the Junior World Series against the Tulsa Oilers. The next year, he totally cleaned up in the International League, bagging Rookie of the Year, MVP, and the Triple Crown. That stellar performance got him bumped up to the majors. When Rice stepped up to the big leagues alongside Fred Lynn, they quickly became known as the Goldust Twins, thanks to their knockout skills that made an immediate splash with the Red Sox. In his first major league season in 1975, Rice was on fire, hitting 22 homers, driving in 102 runs, and batting .309. He was a hair's breadth away from snagging the Rookie of the Year title and even finished third in the MVP race. But a pitch hit his wrist and sidelined him right during the postseason, which was a real blow as the Red Sox ended up losing the World Series to the Cincinnati Reds. 1978 was another standout year for Rice, topping off with him winning the American League MVP. The stats were off the charts: a .315 average, 46 homers, 139 RBIs, and he led the league in total bases and slugging percentage. That year, he even led the majors in triples, home runs, and RBIs all at once, showcasing a rare mix of speed and power. Through the late 70s and early 80s, Rice was consistently smashing it, leading the charts in homers, RBIs, and total bases. In '79, he notched over 200 hits and kept his average above .300 for the third year running. By the time he hung up his cleats, Rice had racked up 382 home runs and 1,451 RBIs, marking him as one of the game's great hitters. Off the diamond, Rice made just as much of an impact. He was heavily involved in community work, particularly with the Jimmy Fund, supporting cancer research and treatment. He even showed his mettle in emergencies, like in '82 when he dashed to help a young fan hit by a foul ball. Even after retiring, Rice stayed close to the game, working as a batting coach and TV commentator. He passed on his wisdom to new generations, influencing countless players with his coaching and insights. The Red Sox retired his number 14 in 2009, sealing his status as a franchise legend. Over his career, Rice was an 8-time All-Star and snagged several Silver Slugger awards. His legacy was cemented in 2009 with his induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, a nod to his extraordinary contributions to baseball. Jim Rice's journey in baseball is a tale of incredible talent and relentless commitment, from his explosive start in the majors to his lasting influence in the community and the sport itself. His story isn't just about the records he set, but also about the lives he touched. Jim Rice really left his mark on baseball, didn't he? He had that kind of swing that made pitchers nervous, and a career filled with highlights that landed him in the Hall of Fame. But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Rice. Despite these controversies, Rice stayed connected to baseball and kept pitching in his 2 cents about today's players and rules, like the designated hitter. He's got strong opinions, and he doesn't shy away from sharing them. That classic old-timer perspective of his really sparked some lively debates. So while Jim Rice's career had its fair share of controversies, he's also remembered as a legend. His journey through baseball wasn't just about the towering home runs or the MVP titles. It was also about navigating the challenges and controversies that came his way. It makes you appreciate not just the player, but the person behind those impressive stats. He's a reminder that the greats of the game are real people with real stories. And hey, if you enjoyed diving into the life and legacy of Jim Rice, why not hit that subscribe button? I've got plenty more stories and discussions about baseball legends and much more. Don't forget to like and comment below with your thoughts or any players you want to hear about next.